This is the testimony in regards to the November 7th, 2017 Ku Klux Klan traffic stop.
Greetings. Today's date is November the 8th, 2017. My name is Vogel Denise Newsome, and I am a community activist. I want to share my testimony with you in regards to an incident that occurred on yesterday, November the 7th, 2017. I picked up my mom from Utica, Mississippi, and we were heading to Jackson, Mississippi. In between Utica and Jackson, the white supremacists, I like to call them the Ku Klux Klan, set up what's known as a traffic stop. So, of course, as we were approaching, I knew they were going to pull me over or ask me to pull over. Now, some of y'all may say, community activists, Vogel Denise Newsome, why would you think they would pull you over? I'm going to let you listen to the rest of this video and find out why. So as I approached the officer, who kind of had some melanin in the skin, so I like to say block or black, in disguise, yes, there are black Klansmen, they're black. The Ku Klux Klan, for those who do not know, are recruiting blacks, Jews, Hispanic, gays, etc. So anyway, I approached, asked for the driver's license, and I gave him the driver's license, which of course, for those who may not be aware of it too, it is deemed what they say under the despotism government regime a contract. Well, when you know or you learn something, it's just good to do better. So after this one expires, or whatever, because the contract is null and void anyway. Why? Because people are not aware that when they get their driver's license, that they're entering into a contract. In other words, to be enslaved. When they go and purchase certain things. Because that is not disclosed to them from the ones who's obtaining what they call these agreements or contracts. And under not only federal or U.S. laws, but international laws, you must disclose to the people the terms and conditions of the contract. But that's not happening. People are just going in, getting a driver's license, etc., and not even aware that they have entered a contract with the terrorist corporation and or regime. I didn't know that, and I'm sure as my 0.02% followers or supporters didn't know either. And then for the 99.98% that want to be enslaved to the system, let them stay right there. This video is for 0.02, myself and the 0.02 that have had enough of the white man's system. Oh, getting ahead of myself. So anyway, I gave the officer's name was Johnson, my driver's license. So, he looks at it, and then he goes back to the back of the vehicle. And he looks, and he's on his way back, and he has to take a second look. So, comes back, he say, Miss Newsome, you need to pull over to the side. So I pull over, and I said, well, this is probably be a good teaching tool. So I turned on a little recording, so record the rest of the incident and how things go down. And so my mom and I were sitting there, of course, talking. She's wondering what's going on. And I said, well, probably checking out because I saw him get out of the car. Then I saw him get back in the car. Then I saw him get out of the car, go around his car. Then get back in his car. And finally, when he got out, I saw him holding like a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And he was folding it. So, of course, I knew it probably was a warning or notification. So he comes up and, he advises me that's what it is. It's in regards to my tags and, basically to take care of that issue. But I just let him know that I'm aware or that I know that they have expired. Okay? Why is that important? Because again, as I shared, when you know, it's just good to do better. Today's date is November 7th, 2017. They are doing a checkpoint here on Highway 18, right in between Utica and Raymond, Mississippi. My driver's license has been retrieved. This is community activist Vogel Denise Newsome. My driver's license has been retrieved. We have now been sitting here for over approximately
20 minutes. I'm hoping.
No, it's not 20 minutes, Mother. According to the clock, when I began recording, 6 minutes. Gather. They're trying to determine how they're going to handle the community activists. I'm here with my mother, Pearl Newsome. They're probably going to ask me about my tags on my car. Well, in that I am not traveling for business or commercial purposes, we are merely going to lay down the law and watch and see how they handle this situation. The time is about, what time is it, Mother? (1:29 p.m.) Again, November 7th, 2017. Highway checkpoint stop in between Utica, Mississippi and Raymond, Mississippi. I saw where another car was asked to pull over, but they've already released and let that one go. It is a block officer that is handling this matter. He's coming back now.
He's coming back to you?
He's coming back with some information. So let's see what's going on.
Ms. Newsome?
Yes.
You need to get that tag for me, updated for me, okay? Make sure you get your tag updated. Is it expired?
I was aware of it.
Okay.
No ticket. Today's date again is November the 7th, 2017. The tag expired back in July. Notice they didn't ask about And so why would I go and have my tags renewed and voluntarily give up my freedom and or rights that I have, that they say is within the contract I entered into that I have no knowledge of? So when you don't have knowledge of a contract or agreement, it's null and void. It's one entered into, but on the part of the one that issued the contract, it's fraudulent. Therefore, null and void. I'm going to put up my tag plate for people to see, somewhat redacted, but see. So no, I knew they had expired. Hello, July. Here it is, November. What is that, 4 months? So if they haven't been renewed, they're going to get renewed. Because I am not a corporation. I'm not employed by a corporation. I'm out here working and doing what I do best as a community activist. But I am not a corporation. I am not a business. And I'm not going to enslave myself to the system. So I understand that these white invaders, they've been here way too long. But as a native, because I am of native descent, we are going to be reaching out internationally, asking for support, Because understand, the natives, those that's on these reservations called Native Americans, the blacks, the Negroes, the coloreds, the people of color, they don't have they don't have a government to protect them. That's why you see these Klan members on the highway. That's in violation of the Ku Klux Klan Act of 1871. They're working for the white supremacist corporation, Zionist supremacist corporation and or empire. So we hope that when you review this video, you take notes. Take the time to stop and pause so that you will know how to handle the situation. Some may say, well, community activist Vogel Denise Newsome, that's good because you've worked for law firms, 10 or 15 years. You know the law, and if you don't, you know how to find out what the law says. But what about those who don't? My suggestion is take information such as this. Understand, as you will learn in this video, there's no lawyers that's out here really interested in helping us. This is why we're proceeding under international laws in a lot of things that we are doing. Because we are under siege. We have been taken hostage against our will. And we are faced or subjected to military or militia type people just traveling, subjecting us to terrorist acts, putting us in very hostile or threatening situations. And that's illegal under international laws. For those who may not know, it was the white Jews Zionist supremacist law firm of Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, and Berkowitz that planned, orchestrated, and carried out the 9/11 attacks on the World Trade Center bombings and other targets that day, and some other domestic attacks here in the United States, as well as international terrorist acts. The 9/11 bombing of the World Trade Center towers and other have been deemed acts of terrorism. So if they have been deemed acts of terrorism, what does it make the people that planned, orchestrated, and carried out the attacks? That is correct. That is correct. So when they're running, because Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, and Berkowitz is legal counsel and attorneys for the United States of America and the United States Despotism Corporation. Earlier this year, the European Union's boss, Jean-Claude Juncker, advised or threatened to break up the United States. Hello, break up the United States. You do not break up a country, but you break up a corporation. You break up a corporation. So we hope as you listen to this video that you take the time to stop, pause, and take notes. When Officer Johnson was leaving, after I had told him I was aware of the tag expiring, he even smirked. Okay? So it's not even going to be an excuse for those who are working for the likes of the Ku Klux Klan and or Nazi to be out here harassing, putting natives such as myself, Native Americans on the reservations, etc., the blacks, the Negroes, African Americans, people of color, putting their lives at stake and or danger, subjecting them to what is a very hostile or threatening situation or combative situation. We hope you enjoy the video and that if you aren't a supporter, that you become a supporter. But we are only working for the supporters, those who want freedom, who want knowledge. that's only 0.02%. 99.98%, the Ku Klux Klan and or white Jews, Zionists, and supremacists can have them for slaves.
This is Truth in the News, bringing you the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I'm your host, Max Freeman.
And I'm your co-host, Jane Smith.
Our top story tonight will shock you. Our legal system is a fraud. And it has been for many decades since 1938.
Can you explain more about this?
Everything in the court is done in commerce. That means that the courts only have jurisdiction over corporations because they use the Uniform Commercial Code, known as the UCC. Flesh and blood human beings are not corporations, so the court has no jurisdiction over us.
Then why are so many people in jail or have to pay fines?
The best way to explain this is by example. If you are stopped by a police officer for driving without a license, having no motor vehicle registration and having no insurance, then he will give you a ticket or citation, which is a contract that you must sign as a promise that you will appear in court.
Okay, go on.
When you go into the courthouse, the man behind the bench in most cases is not a judge. He is a magistrate. Magistrate is simply another name for administrator.
What? Do you mean that it is not really a judge passing judgment? How can they do this?
This is part of the deception. The first thing they do is to ask you if you are John Doe. They are trying to establish a connection between you and the person on the traffic ticket. In actuality, the person on the document is your strawman.
What is a strawman?
A strawman is a legal fiction or a corporation that looks like your name, but it is all capital letters. It is not you. You are a flesh and blood human being with the name John of the family Doe. Not John Doe, spelled with all capital letters. A person in legal terms is a corporation, not a flesh and blood human being. You thought you were a person, but you are not. You are a flesh and blood human being. Your strawman is the person.
I didn't know about this. Does everyone have a strawman?
If you were born since the early 1960s, then you have a strawman because you have a birth certificate because your parents applied for it when you were born. If you were born before the early 1960s, you should have a long-form birth record. However, if you made the mistake of applying for a birth certificate later instead of a copy of your long-form birth record, then you also have a strawman. It was done without your knowledge and without your consent, so in actuality, it was done unlawfully.
Wow. That makes me angry. I didn't know that I have been tricked into having a strawman.
We all should be angry because it is how our own government enslaved us. We were born into slavery and didn't even know it. We are all debt slaves, but that is a topic for another discussion about the money system.
Tell me more about the strawman.
If you look at your social security card or birth certificate, it has your name in all capital letters. This is true of your driver's license, your checkbook, your credit and debit cards, and every official document you have.
I never noticed that before. So you are saying that all these documents are showing my strawman and not me?
Correct.
I can't believe it. It has been under my nose my entire life and I never saw it.
That's the way they meant it to happen, right under our noses. Speaking of your driver's license, you were tricked into giving up your constitutional right to free travel when you signed the driver's license because the driver's license is a contract that you are coerced into entering into with the state so that the state can tax you and to subject you to its laws. Title 18 of the U.S. Code, which is the higher federal law, defines a motor vehicle as a vehicle that is used for commerce. Lawfully, under the U.S. Code, you do not have to have a driver's license, registration or insurance for your car since you are not conducting business on the highways. Under the Constitution and federal law known as the U.S.C. or U.S. Code, you have every lawful right to travel. However, under state laws, also called statutes, it is illegal to drive without a driver's license, registration and insurance.
You keep using the words legal and lawful. Is there a difference between what is legal or illegal and lawful and unlawful?
Yes, there is a difference. Something that is illegal by state statutory laws may still be lawful because common law permits it. The state tricks you into giving up your lawful common law, inalienable rights by getting you to sign a contract to abide by their statutory laws. That contract is the driver's license. This is why the state wants you to get a driver's license when you move to their state, so that they can subject you to their laws and tax you.
But if I don't have a driver's license, I am charged with a crime. How can I get away with driving without a license?
When you sign your name on the license or anything else, you should write "Without Prejudice UCC 1-308" above your name. If you are getting a ticket from a police officer, also write "Under duress," because there is a man with a gun threatening to kidnap you and take you away if you do not comply. Any contract that is entered into under duress or without all the facts being made known is not valid and not enforceable.
What is UCC 1-308?
The UCC is the Uniform Commercial Code. It is the law that the courts follow. It is under maritime jurisdiction, not common law jurisdiction. The courts do not use common law anymore. Actually, common law has not been used in the courts of this country since 1938. The common law is in line with the Constitution, however the UCC is not. However, Section 1-308 of the UCC is the section containing the reservation of rights. If you invoke Section 1-308, then you are reserving your constitutional rights even if you are signing a document that takes them away. If you do not assert your rights, then you automatically lose them.
So, what is the real purpose behind us having a strawman and having a driver's license? Or should I say, our strawman having a driver's license?
Since the courts do not have jurisdiction over you as a flesh and blood human being, they have to do business through your strawman because business can only be done through corporations. You were deceived into thinking that you must be responsible for your strawman and deceived into thinking that you have to obey their rules so that the courts can have jurisdiction over you.
So if I go to traffic court, how do they get jurisdiction over me if they don't already have it?
They first get you to identify yourself as the strawman, but this is just a formality since they already assume that you are responsible for the strawman. Secondly, the judge or magistrate asks, "Do you understand the charges against you?" The word "understand" in legalese means to stand under or agree to. In other words, by saying yes to that question means that you enter into a contract with the court to allow them to prosecute you, hence you give them jurisdiction over you.
So are you saying that if I say no when asked if I understand, then they can't prosecute me?
Yes. That is correct. Tell them that you do not wish contract with them and that they have no jurisdiction over you unless you consent, which you do not. At this point the judge will try to get you to enter a plea of innocent, guilty or no contest. You must refuse to enter a plea. If the judge tries to enter a plea in your behalf, even if that is a not guilty plea, you must object and tell the magistrate or judge that they are not allowed to practice law from the bench and that they do not have subject matter jurisdiction over you and that you do not permit them to enter a plea for you. Only you can enter a plea or your attorney can enter a plea on your behalf.
What is subject matter jurisdiction?
Subject matter jurisdiction is the authority of the court to hear and make a determination in a court action. If they prosecute you, then you can appeal to a higher court and argue that they did not have subject matter jurisdiction. According to the late Chief Justice William H. Rehnquist, 100% of the people that are in federal or state penitentiaries are there voluntarily.
What? Why would anyone go to jail voluntarily?
Most everyone who is in jail is there voluntarily because they did not assert their rights and did not challenge the court for lack of subject matter jurisdiction. Also, in order for the courts to prosecute you, they must also have documents from the prosecutor that state in detail what the charges are. These documents are called formal information or formal charges. Traffic court tries to use the citation that the police officer gave you as the charges, but it is only a statement from the witness. The ticket or citation that you signed is just a contract that you signed to promise to appear in court. The police officer is not a prosecutor. If there are no formal charges on file with the court clerk, then they cannot prosecute you unless you consent to it by saying that you understand or enter a plea.
So what happens then? Do I win my case?
If you didn't harm anyone and there is no corpus delicti or victim, then they won't pursue it and will dismiss the case. Remember that the cop is not a victim, he is a witness.
Wow. I wish I knew about this when I got a speeding ticket last year.
Lawyers and judges will never admit to any of this because they signed an agreement to not do anything to hurt their profession. Never get a lawyer to defend you against laws where there is no victim, because the lawyer's first obligation is to the court and not to his client. Remember that the courts are offices of a corporation and corporations exist to make money.